very warm welcome to Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. If we look at our lives, we don't really feel satisfied. There's always something lacking. ऐसा कुछ ना कुछ ज़रूर होता है जो हमें हमारी मंजिल तक, हमारी खुशी तक पहुंचने से रोक देता है. What has really happened? There are a lot of questions which need to be answered. और उन्हीं सभी सवालों का जवाब तलाशने के लिए we start a journey today. And to take us through this journey, it's a great privilege to have Brahma Kumari Sister Jayanti with us. Brahma Kumari Sister Jayanti is the European Director of Brahma Kumaris and also the NGO representative at United Nations, Geneva. Brahma Kumari Sister Jayanti, a very warm welcome. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti and Namaskar.
Brahma Kumari Sister Jayanti, there is something which is lacking today. You know, even if we are happy, even if we feel that we are satisfied, but something really happens, something really triggers, which makes us realize that no, everything is not right. What has really happened?
I think what's happened is that for the last few hundred years, maybe even longer, gradually there's been a growth of materialism. And in fact, coming to India now, you can see how there's so much that's happened on the external level. And yet, as you say, the quality of life seems to have changed, not for the better. On the external level, yes, but in terms of the quality of life, in terms of our inner happiness, that's definitely lacking. And I think it's because we've forgotten about the whole process of going inwards. We're looking for everything on the external level, and all the most important things of life, in fact, are within. And we've forgotten about this.
But can we find that? You know, because actually now when we grow materialistically, the way, you know, we've been thinking, we've been realizing, we've been seeing that we are growing at each step. But then the way you say, we are going away from us, the real me. Can I go back now? From wherever I am, can I go back? Go in?
I think there's two levels, in the sense that there are people who are struggling for survival. And of course, that's so important that people should have at least the basic needs fulfilled. And then, yes, I agree that then they would want to go on an inner journey. But I'm also seeing the other thing that's happening in India, where people thought that if they had a car, if they had their own home, if they had all these things, then they would be so comfortable and they'd be so happy. And now a lot of people have acquired all of these things, and yet they don't have that happiness. So I think in a very automatic and natural way, people are beginning to ask the question, well, what's gone on? What can I do about this? And having looked for answers outside, and there's a huge amount of information out there, but that's not the information that's useful to bring me happiness within. I think that in a very natural way, people are now ready to start the journey within. And yes, I think in a sense you have to reach the wall, and you can't go any further there. Then you say, well, maybe it's something inside. Let me try going within and seeing what's there.
Beautiful, actually, you know, but do I really have to wait till I reach the wall? Or can I take a U-turn somewhere in between? I continue this journey also, and in between only, I take this U-turn and go within. Is it possible?
Yes, definitely. I mean, for me, I was living a very comfortable life and there was nothing that you could say was missing. Everything seemed to be going well on the external level. But there was one particular question that came to my mind, and that is, well, what is it that's really right? I couldn't get any answer to that, because in Hindu terms, different people would have different answers. In Christian terms, people would have again different answers. And when I saw that growing up in another culture and having my own traditional roots from a different culture, it was at that time that this question came in my mind, which direction do I want to go in? And during the 60s, it wasn't just a question of East and West, it was even the question of traditional West and the permissive society that had just started. And so when those questions came up, I realized that it wasn't somebody out there who could give me answers, but I had to undertake the journey within. And so I was lucky that I didn't have to hit a wall, but the wall came in terms of questions in my own mind. But sometimes people do feel that they've achieved this thing, that thing, and the other thing, and all the targets that they've set themselves. I know, for example, somebody who said, By the time I'm 25, I should have done this, this, and this. He did it. 30, the same. 40, the same. And having come to 40, I've done all the things that I'd wanted to do, but I'm still not experiencing that fulfillment that I was hoping to have. So what's going on? So it's not even a question of a tragedy or an illness or anything like that, but it's just a moment of time when a person starts realizing that the outside world isn't everything, that there must be something that's there within also.
Yeah, wonderful. Actually, how do I go in?
Okay, I think you first just ask yourself the question, well, where are my thoughts coming from? Because I'm seeing that in every situation there's a different response that I have. Or maybe in two different situations, my responses are quite different. But maybe the same situation is coming up, and yesterday my response was one, and today my response is another. So what happened there? And so when you first see yourself and ask yourself, well, what's going on? The situation's the same, but my responses are quite different. And is there anything I can do about this? I don't want to shift from one mood to another mood. I want to be able to be the master of myself and my own thinking and my own feeling. Is that a possibility? At first it just comes up as a question. Can I actually attain a state of equanimity in which I can guarantee that my response is going to be a response of love? My response is going to be a response of peace. And when you want to make this happen, then you start looking inside and seeing, well, what are the ingredients that go on within the self? And can I start not just looking at them, but can I start taking charge of them and moving them in a direction of my choice?
Okay, first question is like, can I do it? You know, that you said that the first thing starts is like, why I change.
Yeah.
That's the first why. So why does it change?
It happens because we've forgotten that we can be masters of our own selves. You know, there's a very ancient term that's used in India, and that's the term Raj Yoga. And the word Raja, the king, the sovereign, the master. And so, is there a type of yoga that I can learn that can give me back this mastery over myself, so that it's not that circumstances that take charge or another person who takes charge of me, but I regain mastery over myself? And yes, definitely, there's a whole process of knowing what's going on inside by which I can regain that mastery.
Sister Jayanti, here are a few questions, which actually pop up the moment we talk about meditation. What is actually, if I'm going to meditate or if I'm going to get into some kind of this philosophy, is it going to take me away from the normal lives? Is it going to really take a lot of time, and will I have enough time?
The first thing is that I have to understand that it's actually going to be something which is useful for me at this moment in my life. It's not something which is a luxury, it's not something which is irrelevant, it's not something that maybe I take it or maybe I leave it, but rather at the present time it's very, I would say, vital to be able to look at all of these things so that, as I said, one can take mastery of the self. Otherwise, the circumstances of the world are so chaotic that they're really going to overpower us. And many people at this moment feel very much overpowered by circumstances instead of being able to live a life of dignity in which I decide where I want to go and what I want to do. So I'd say, yes, it's vital for everyone. And then another question was, well, how much time is it going to take? Well, I understand the concern, because sometimes in India we've been told, well, it's a journey of 1,000 years. Or sometimes we've been told that, so-and-so Mahatma, so-and-so sage spent 70 years in tapasya and then there was enlightenment. Well, fortunately, it's not quite like that. All it needs is interest. That's it. And if I'm interested, I'm curious, then in a very natural way, if you want to find out about something, you go surfing on the net. Do you see, is it taking me 5 minutes? Is it taking me 30 minutes? You're interested, and so you stay on.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit the same. If there's a curiosity, as it was in my case, if there's an interest that's awoken within me, then that is the awakening. You don't have to wait for the moment of enlightenment. The awakening is actually this moment of curiosity. That's it, my interest. I want to find out more. And no, you don't have to stop doing the things you normally do. If you're a student, you continue with your college or university or whatever it is. If you're a woman running a home, you continue to do all those things. If you're a woman doing a double job, outside and inside, this is vital, because then it will help you keep the balance of what's going on at home and what's going on at work. If you're a man who's got a very busy lifestyle, well, this is something that's actually going to help you cope better with all the pressures that you're facing. And so in every situation that we're in, meditation is actually an enhancement to be able to do better and do the things that I'm already doing, but to do them with a different fragrance, to do them with an ability that's actually more outstanding than I was able to manage before.
What exactly is going to change in my life, How things are going to change when I get into this journey, and, when the one is the curiosity factor, that I really want to know. Another is, you said it's vital. It is important. It has to be done. It should be done. But what is going to change? The people will change around me, or, the circumstances will change, because this is another question. Or something within me will change. What is going to happen?
It would be wonderful if people around me could change. That would be the wonderful thing that would make life much easier for me. But unfortunately, if you've ever tried it, it never works.
I think we spend all our lives trying to change them, but they never change.
And so I could be waiting for another 30 years if I have that long, or another 10 years, and it won't work. Circumstances, well, there's so many different factors that govern circumstances. Today it's the government, tomorrow it's the economy, tomorrow, all of these things. So how can I expect circumstances to do as I wish? It's not going to happen. I'll be very disappointed. But what I can have is charge of my own life. And what's going on, not in terms of around me, but what's going on inside of me. And a very simple principle that one learns on the path of spirituality, the first principle in a sense is, whatever's going on inside is what's going to have an impact outside. And that's a reality, isn't it? If today I face you with respect, whatever your feelings are, but that respect is going to cut through other things, and you're going to come at least to a state in which you're able to approach me and we're able to have a communication. If I say, well, I'm going to wait for her to come to me, how long am I going to keep waiting? So if I make a shift inside myself, then that's going to shift things outside in a very genuine way. There's a very simple example that I heard many years ago. It's the example of a boat. A boat's not supposed to be on dry land. The boat's supposed to be in the water. But that's the crucial thing, that the boat is in the water, but not that the water is in the boat. If the water comes inside the boat, you have a problem. But the boat is in the water, and that's what it's supposed to be. And so, yes, I'm in the world, and that's what life is about.
Oh, beautiful. Words should not come in